Alright everybody, Michael Haley here, coach of the Toronto Torterras. It has been some time since you guys have seen me last. After season 6 of ETA, I decided to take some time away from draft and kind of enjoy the semi-retired life. Just like a bad drug addict though, you know I couldn't stay away for too long and eventually I had to relapse. We're hopping back into a very familiar place with our good friends in the PWC for their 12th season. The rules for the league are mostly pretty standard. It's a point-based draft with each team given 115 points to draft 11 Pokemon. You're not allowed to draft more than 3 Pokemon with over 16 points. Now, the league does have one very unique rule that they've run for a very long time, and that is a signature mon. A signature mon is a low-tiered Pokemon, usually 6 points or lower, that you are required to bring to every single game. Your signature Pokemon is also your Terra Captain, with the ability to terrestrialize freely into any type you'd like. Each coach is required to draft your signature mon in the very first round of the draft. This thing is your shadow. Wherever you go, it goes. It's essentially your bread and butter. This can be tough for some coaches, as you're now required to dedicate one spot on your roster to this Pokemon every single week. To me, personally, I find it important to draft a Pokemon where you can get some kind of benefit from it every week, or it has some kind of versatility, so it's not always the same thing. With the 15th pick in the first round, I selected Mr. Rime as my signature Pokemon. As I mentioned, the signatures are Pokemon that are worth 6 points or below, so it's pretty slim pickings. Mr. Rime gives us the option to have hazard control every week with Rapid Spin, while still being able to threaten opposing Pokemon offensively with its base 110 special attack stat. Its signature ability Screen Cleaner helps us in the team building process, as opposing teams may be hesitant to bring screens for setup chances against us. Now, those of you who know me know I'm a bit of a Torterra glazer. I've been rocking with the guy since 2006. But Mike, I hear you all asking, what about the other starter Pokemon? Yeah, I fuck with them. My main idea for this draft was to actually create our main Fire Water Grass core with starter Pokemon. So with our second pick, I grabbed a Pokemon that doesn't really need an introduction, and that's Greninja. Greninja is an incredibly fast offensive Pokemon with a base 122 speed stat and a 103 special attack stat. Unfortunately for us, its signature ability Battle Bond is banned, but we still have a great ability in Protean. Protean changes Greninja's type into the type of move it uses on its first turn in. So say if we lead with Greninja and we were to use Ice Beam, we would then become an Ice type. Or if we use Grass Knot, we would become a Grass type. In the third round, I went ahead and I grabbed Infernape. Similar to Greninja, Infernape is a very fast mixed attack Pokemon, having a base 108 speed stat and a 104 stat in both special attack and physical attack. Infernape has fallen off from where it used to be in previous generations, but I still believe it's a fantastic Pokemon. With a deep move pool set up for either of its attacking stats in Calm Mind and Bulk Up, or even support moves like Fake Out, Encore, and Stealth Rocks. I still think it brings a lot to the table. With our Water and Fire starters drafted, all we had left was Grass. And I know what you're all thinking, and no, it's not Big T. With the fourth pick, I went ahead and I drafted Mega Venusaur. Venusaur is an absolute beast. This thing is fat as fuck. With a base 80 HP stat, 123 in physical defense, and 120 in special defense, we are eating just about any hit. With Thick Fat as its ability, we can even stay in and compete with mons we normally couldn't. Venusaur doesn't just eat hits though, it can also deal them with its crazy 122 base special attack stat. With good stab moves in Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb, and Earth Power for steel types we struggle to hit, Venusaur isn't to be taken lightly. The next two types I wanted to grab in the draft were Steel and Fairy. The last time we participated in draft was season 6 of ETA, and in that draft we were stuck with Berserker and Shiinotic as our Steel and Fairy types, and I didn't want to make the same mistake again. For our Steel type, I took one of my personal favorite Pokemon I have yet to use in draft, being Scizor. Design and use-wise, Scizor is just such an awesome Pokemon. It can be an incredible offensive threat using Choice Banded sets or Sword Stance sets to take advantage of its base 130 attack stat. With access to Roost, it can also be a defensive pivot. In the 6th round, I wanted our Fairy type to be a bulky Cleric that could wish support the entire team. In my mind, no other fairy does a better job at this than Sylveon. I can't even begin to count the amount of times I've prepped for opponents, and I was marveled by the calcs of how well Sylveon could eat hits both physically and specially. With powerful fairy type hyper voices from Pixelate and mystical fire to hit steel types, we really don't need to run anything besides the same 4 moves on this mon. Now at this point in the draft, I took a look at the team to see what we really needed, and there was 3 things I really noticed. 1, we only had 2 Mons with base 100 speed. 2, our only stealth rocker was Infernape. And 3, our team to be pretty weak to flying types. I was able to grab a Pokemon that fixed the first 2 issues while also giving us 2 types that we didn't have yet, and that's Flygon. While Flygon isn't the Mon it once was, it still has proven use to me time and time again. It's a solid choice Scarfer, a potential sweeper with Dragon Dance, or even just a support player with Stealth Rocks or Defog. This Pokemon has plenty of chances to help the team out. For our flying weakness, I wanted to find a bulky electric type that could easily take some hits. With an impressive base 109 HP stat, a base 91 physical defense stat, and a base 83 special defensive stat, and easy access to recovery in the form of Slack Off, there is no bulkier electric type than Bellibolt. While this guy is a bit of a one-trick pony having a very limited move pool, I still think it could shock some coaches. With only 3 picks left and 19 points remaining, it was time for us to fill some holes on the team with budget Mons. Despite having a few bulky Mons already, I thought the team could use more, and I also thought the team needed another ground resist as our only one was Flygon with Levitate. The next pick I grabbed was Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus' entire job is just to be fat. With a base 145 physical defensive stat and a base 105 special defensive stat, we can easily eat hits. It's not going to be a crazy offensive weapon due to its low attacking stats, but with Nightshade for consistent damage or running Hex with our status causing moves and Will-O-Wisp, it will serve its role perfectly. The team's only real psychic resists at this point were Scizor and Greninja. With most psychic types having access to fighting type moves or fire type moves, I was worried that they wouldn't be enough. Luckily for us, Hisuian Qwilfish was an excellent budget pick. With Eviolite to boost its defensive stats by 1.5 times and a useful ability in Intimidate, it was the perfect last bulky Mom we needed to cover our psychic weakness. With our last 6 points, I wanted to grab a flying type with a decent speed tier. That really only left us with 1 option, but in a way I'm kind of excited to at least bring this guy once or twice, and that's Squawkabilly. While Squawkabilly only has base 96 physical attack stat, it has 2 really good abilities in Guts and Sheer Force. Guts allows us to hit hard with Stab Facades, Brave Birds, and even quick attacks to finish off Pokemon with low health. It also gets some nice support moves in Parting Shot and Tailwind as well. That is it for the Toronto Torterras in Season 12 PWC. I'm super excited to be back playing Draft again. Stay posted. I will see you guys soon for our Week 1 battle next week, and I hope you guys are excited to follow along with the team. So peace out. See you guys soon.